Part 54. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 531. At this moment, the Emperor of Nothingness on another path suddenly burst into tears, and the soul-rending pain kept stimulating his brain. Ripple. The Void Emperor roared with scarlet eyes. At this moment, the leader of the Immortal clan was crying like a child. Damn it, old man, what's wrong with you? Nothingness, what's wrong? Qingxian, Emperor Xuanhuan, who was on the side, asked with unusual concern when seeing the Emperor of Nothingness. Lianyi she, is gone. My daughter is gone, Qingxian, the God Emperor, my daughter, is gone. She, is gone, gone, gone. The Emperor of Nothingness knelt on the ground and cried bitterly. The extremely sad mood quickly spread across the entire road, as if all the heavens and worlds also felt the pain of the Emperor of Nothingness. What on earth happened? How could it happen? How could Lianyi fall? Qingxian murmured with a pale face. As for Emperor Xuanhuan, his face was pale and he couldn't speak a word. I'm going to find my daughter, I'm going to find her. Nothing, you are crazy, you think you can get out now. Yeah, nothingness, you can't get out of here just when you want. Qingxian and Emperor Xuanhuan immediately stopped him. Qingxian, God Emperor, get out of my way, otherwise don't blame me for taking action. The Emperor of Nothingness was exuding a violent aura, and his eyes turned completely scarlet. Sir, you must have a way, I believe you. Yes, 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 my best friend must have a way. Quick, let's go find our best friend. However, just as they were preparing to look for Li Bai, the Emperor of Nothingness once again let out a heart-rending roar. Suddenly, a mouthful of blood spurted out, and his breath suddenly became weak. No, Xiao Tian. My son, my daughter. Father, father, I'm sorry for you, it's me who's sorry for you. After saying that, the Emperor of Nothingness fell directly into a coma. How could this happen? Xiao Tian and Lianyi, how could it happen? How could they do it? King Xuan's lips kept trembling, and he said with tears. Who is it? I must kill you with my own hands, I must, Emperor Xuanhuan roared with scarlet eyes at this moment. No, we must find the master, he must have a way. On the other side, in Xuanhuang's space, Xuanhuang had killed countless geniuses who appeared at this moment. He could only vent his anger on these challengers. The power did not control Xuanhuang's body. At this moment, his mind had already numbness. After a while, a challenger appeared again. As expected, it was Su Wu Xiaotian. At this moment, Xuanhui Xiaotian was kneeling on the ground, looking at the ground with dull eyes. Nothingness, Xiaotian. Xuanhuang shouted with difficulty. Seeing Su Wu Xiaotian's appearance, Xuanhuang also knew that maybe he had also killed his sister with his own hands. Su Wu Xiaotian, I am Xuanhuang, cheer up, we want revenge, we want revenge. You cheer me up. Xuanhuang kept shaking Su Wu Xiaotian's shoulders and shouted angrily. After Xuanhuang shouted for an unknown amount of time, Su Wu Xiaotian suddenly grabbed Death's sleeve with all his strength, his eyes flashing with light, but this light did not represent hope, but death, and then he coughed blood, word by word. Send me to see my sister. I can't let him down there, alone, what if she, is bullied? No, I can't. I have already killed Yaoer with my own hands. I can't, I absolutely can't. Xuanhuang kept shaking his head and pleading. Please. I want to be with Lianyi, I want to be with my sister, I can't live alone. Please, please, please. Me. Finally, after painful suffering, Xuanhuang agreed. Okay, I promise you. After saying that, Xuanhuang's eyes trembled, and he directly slashed his sword on Su Wu Xiaotian's body. Then, Su Wuxiaoshan's body slowly decomposed, and his face showed joy, as if he had met her sister. "Thank you, Emperor Su. You must escape." After a moment, Su Wuxiaoshan's body completely disappeared, while Xuanhuan stood there stunned without saying a word. He personally sent away another friend who fought alongside him, one of the few friends. "Ha ha ha ha. I killed another friend. Ha 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 ha." Xuanhuan lowered his head and smiled miserably, his body shaking with laughter, making people shudder. On the other side, Li Bufan killed another genius, none other than Dijun Wuyat. When he heard the last words of Dijun Wuya, the successors of Emperor Fantian, "I hope you can take care of me, Mei Xian and the others, don't let them die in an ugly way." Li Bufan's eyes were filled with tears. It has lost its luster. Although this Emperor Junwei is not a creature from the fairyland, it is known from this sentence that their relationship is very good. Several hours passed slowly, and finally, of all the geniuses, only Xuanhuan and Li Bufan were left. At this moment, the two of them were facing each other, and they were constantly fighting under the control of that power. From the beginning to the end, they never said a word, but just kept fighting, as if they were two puppets. After countless battles, the two sides still couldn't decide the winner, which shows how powerful the inheritance of Emperor Fantian is. At this moment, the shadow of Emperor Shuntian appeared in this space again. "Sure enough, I was right, your inheritance is Emperor Fantian." Emperor Shuntian looked at Lin Bufan and said slowly. After seeing the mastermind behind all this, Lin Bufan and Emperor Su immediately regained their expressions in their eyes, and then, they burst out with endless killing intent. "Are you satisfied with this scene?" Emperor Su asked hoarsely. "To be honest, I'm not too satisfied. Neither of you can kill the other. According to the rules, there can only be one Gu King in the end, and there must be only one Gu King. This makes me a little troubled." Emperor Shuntian said with a smile. "Why do you do this? Aren't you the great emperor of the heavens and the worlds? Why do you want us to kill each other like this?" Lin Bufan questioned. "Why do you do this? It's a simple reason. I don't want to have only a soul body. I want to have a perfect body. Then, with the things in my mind, I believe that I can definitely walk out of a path that I couldn't touch before." Emperor Shuntian's eyes were crazy and paranoid, as if for him, there was only such a path. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 532. Then why is it us? There are so many evil geniuses in the world, why did they choose us? Lin Bufan's eyes flashed with negative emotions such as confusion and guilt. These emotions lasted for a long time, and even became worse with the passage of time. It was getting thicker and thicker, almost drowning Lin Bufan's entire spiritual world. "No, no, no, this is wrong, you chose me. You took that bronze fragment and entered that palace. You can't blame me. Besides, it's not like I didn't give you a chance to give up before. It's just that you don't want to give up. If you really want to say it, it's your desire that swallows you up. You can't blame me," Emperor Shuntian said in a contemptuous tone. "This is simply a fallacy. Isn't it because your desire has been tempting us?" Lin Bufan retorted angrily, "All desires and pains have a source, and this source is none other than Emperor Shuntian in front of him. I don't want to have a long talk with you ants on such a boring topic. Oh, by the way, you have seen that mural, right?" Emperor Shuntian stared at the two people and said. "Did you paint that mural?" Xuanhuan asked slowly with blood-red eyes. "Of course, after all, I was a participant in that war and also a fallen person." "So, who is the person who survived in the end?" Xuanhuan asked again. "You should have heard of it, it's Li Bai." When Emperor Shuntian mentioned these three words, his eyes were full of pain, hatred, and overwhelming resentment. If it weren't for Li Bai, How could he have fallen? Maybe he would have touched that realm now, instead of being trapped in it. In the dark world, reincarnation again and again. It turns out to be Lord Bai. Xuanhuan shouted with his eyes widened, while Lin Bufan showed no emotion. After all, he was a creature from the lower world. After arriving in the immortal realm, it was impossible for anyone to take the initiative to mention Li Bai's deeds to him. I understand, so you are planning this conspiracy because you are preparing to take revenge on Sir. Xuanhuan said with a crazy look in his eyes. Of course, this is my ultimate goal, otherwise, why would I do this? Ha 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 ha, you can't succeed. That's the Emperor in white. You were no match for me before. So what will happen if you change your body? You're always a loser, aren't you? You can only live in the shadow of adults, can't you? You're just a clown, that's all. Xuanhuan laughed wildly and said, and these words obviously touched Emperor Xuanquan's pain. And, shut up. Emperor Xuanquan's momentum was shaken. In an instant, Emperor Su's internal organs were shaken to pieces. Then Emperor Xuanquan's eyes condensed, and then he waved his hand, and a ray of power gradually repaired Emperor Su's body. Kill me, why don't you kill me? Why, did I hit the spot? Su Wang's mouth was bleeding with blood, and he said hoarsely that it was a pity that his body was not his own now, otherwise he would rather self-destruct than let Emperor Shuntian take his body. Forget it, let me do this last step myself. It's a pity that you are the successor of Emperor Fantian. Likewise, Emperor Fantian is also one of the creatures I hate the most. So, I have to let you die. Having Su Wang's body is enough. After saying that, Emperor Shuntian prepared to destroy Lin Bufan. However, at the next moment, Lin Bufan's body suddenly emitted bursts of light, and then, wisps of aura that shocked the world continued to burst out. A moment later, a phantom slowly appeared in front of Lin Bufan, and with a wave of his hand, he directly erased Emperor Shuntian's killing move. Subsequently, endless power continued to bless this phantom, and it gradually became clear. It is strange that this figure does not feel like the supreme majesty of those great emperors. On the contrary, it is more like an ordinary person who cannot be more ordinary. Creatures, ordinary clothes, ordinary faces, ordinary mortal realm. Everything is telling the ordinariness of this phantom, but it is not so ordinary. Okay kids, get some sleep. This phantom lightly touched Lin Bufan and Xuanhuan, and instantly they both fell into a deep sleep. The descendant who wants to kill me, Emperor Fantian, asked me for my opinion, Shuntian. Emperor Fantian stared at Emperor Shuntian, his tone was extremely calm. It was obviously just a very ordinary words, but it sounded shocking to Emperor Shuntian. The momentum of the earth. Yes, this figure is none other than Emperor Fantian, the legendary emperor of the immortal realm who once fought against the darkness alone and finally walked into the darkness without hesitation. Why is Emperor Fantian called Emperor Fantian? Of course it cannot be because he is a real mortal. After all, he has become an emperor, so how can he be immortal? The reason why the creatures in the fairyland are called mortal emperor is more because the legendary experience of mortal emperor becoming an emperor in a mortal body and fighting against the way of heaven lets all weak creatures know that there is still a glimmer of hope for them in this world. At this time, natural talent and physical constitution cannot really determine the path of a creature. Therefore, this name is more of an encouragement, a monument, and a goal that one wants to pursue. As for Emperor Shuntian, when he felt this disgusting aura again, a wisp of killing intent flashed in his eyes, and then he suppressed his anger and said, I really didn't expect that you would leave such a shadow in your inheritance. Of course. After all, what I have to face is the primitive darkness. I will naturally leave a way out. I am not that great and selfless. In the final analysis, I am just a living being who is constantly fighting against danger. Emperor Fantian said with a smile. So, I'm curious now, After entering the Dark Queen, "Are you alive or dead?" Emperor Xuanhuan asked slowly. "Is the answer to this question important to you?" "Ha ha ha, of course it's important. You also know that my desire to kill you didn't just happen in a day or two, but spread for countless hours. Do you think this hatred will never wear off as time goes by?" Emperor Xuanhuan looked at Emperor Fantian and said with a sad smile. "I know, no. You can say I'm dead, or you can say I'm still alive. What's the meaning? You also know that I am an emperor who became an emperor in a mortal body, and there are so many mortals in the entire fairyland and even in the heavens and worlds, just like ants on the ground. This mortal does not include mortals, but those who have been beings destined not to become emperors. They continue to struggle in this era, but they never retreat. Even if I really die, I always believe that sooner or later they will become bright and dazzling stars in the deep space of the universe. Finally, they will gather into the stars in the sky and continue to walk the path I have not finished. This is the meaning of inheritance. It has nothing to do with my life or death. So, it doesn't mean much if I am really dead or alive. Emperor Mortal Heaven is not the only one. After several epochs, another Mortal Heaven Emperor will appear sooner or later. Even if you really kill me, can you ensure that you kill the Emperor of Heaven who keeps appearing in the future? Unless you directly destroy the world and solve it from the root, of course, you don't have this ability." Emperor Fantian looked at Emperor Xuanhuan, his eyes sparkling with hope, and it was an extremely hot hope that would not wear out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start. Invincible, Met the Empress's Apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 533. Ha 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 ha, it's you, Emperor Fantian. Although you are my enemy, I have to admire you. It's just right to describe you as the pioneer of all spirits. It's incredible that the fairyland can give birth to you and Emperor Cheng. We are really lucky. We can only say that we are unlucky. It is said that it is the times that create creatures like you, but in my opinion, it is you who are constantly repairing this era. The era should be proud of you. Xuanhuan Emperor laughed and praised without hesitation. Although the two sides are mortal enemies, it does not prevent Xuanhuan Emperor from admiring Emperor Fantian. If he replaced himself with Emperor Fantian, he would never be able to do this. If a person does not work for himself, he will be punished by heaven and earth. For creatures of their level, this is the first principle. Compared to the Green Emperor, I am still far behind. After all, the Green Emperor's contribution can cover the entire chaotic era, while I am only the immortal realm, just the heavens and the worlds. Unfortunately, the Green Emperor fell too early, Emperor Fantian shook his head and sighed. So, you are dead, right? You already have the answer in your heart, right? The moment you never stepped into the original darkness, the ending was already doomed. Damn Emperor Fantian. Suddenly, Emperor Xuanhuan became extremely excited, gritting his teeth and saying word by word. How can you die in the hands of those dark ones? You should die in my hands. Hearing what you said, it seems that I am a little sorry for you, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, the final result is the same, isn't it? Emperor Fantian said with a chuckle. How can this be compared? The damage you have caused to me cannot end with death. Let's talk about business. How long have you been planning? Emperor Fantian asked, changing the subject. Since I fell. So, you are willing to start this plan even if you are exposed to that adult. You know, among those geniuses you killed, there are a few who are very special. You mean, the three in the fairyland? Emperor Xuanhuan asked in confusion. Yeah. Why, are you heartbroken? Emperor Xuanhuan said with a sneer. Of course, after all, it is the hope of my fairyland. How can I not feel sorry? A desolate body, a reincarnation body, a fairy bone in the eyebrow of the Wanchi Academy, and the power of original sin, these are all the hope for the continuation of the fairyland, Emperor Fantian sighed. Ha ha ha, seeing your distressed look, I feel that I am right to do all this. It's just a pity that Li Bai didn't see it with his own eyes. However, I am also very glad that if he showed up, it would not end like this. No, you are wrong, and very wrong. These three Tianjiao are not only the hope of the fairyland, but more importantly, they are friends of that adult's apprentice, friends of life and death. Emperor Fantian looked at Emperor Shuntian and said jokingly. Li Bai. Impossible, how could he have an apprentice? You know, even King Di, a creature that I admire, didn't become Li Bai's apprentice in the end. Are you lying to me? Emperor Shuntian widened his eyes and asked in disbelief. Li Bai's taking in a disciple is definitely the biggest joke in the Taishu era. Everyone knows Li Bai's character. Any creature can be used as a pawn, so how could he take in a disciple? Do you think I have to lie to you? That master has not only one disciple, but two. One is the same as me, both of us became emperors with mortal bodies, the eternal empress, named Nanyi Empress. As for the other one, I dare not say too much, because she is terrible. Emperor Fantian said slowly. What do you mean by terrible? Emperor Shuntian immediately heard the hidden meaning in Emperor Fantian's words. It's very simple, more terrible than you, because you are just a follower, and she is, the real heir. Boom. Hearing Emperor Fantian's words, Emperor Shuntian's mind exploded. The impact of this sentence on him was so great that he had lost some of his ability to think at this moment. At this moment, Emperor Shuntian's mind was like chaos, a mess, disordered. After a long time, it was slowly reshaped. How is it possible? You mean, this disciple of Li Bai is, the descendant of those innate origins? Absolutely impossible, how could such a thing happen to Li Bai? Doesn't he hate these innate origins the most, and even launched the most tragic origin war for this? Emperor Fantian, you are lying to me, right? Die for me. Emperor Shuntian roared at Emperor Fantian angrily, and then directly launched an extremely terrifying attack on Emperor Fantian's phantom. As for Emperor Fantian, he just made a light palm, which directly made Emperor Shuntian's moves, after layers of exploitation, directly become the most ordinary moves, and even a slightly stronger mortal can resist it with his flesh. This is the path of Emperor Fantian, and it is also the most terrifying place, which can make all the enemy's moves become the most ordinary moves, and even those forbidden avenues can directly become the most ordinary avenues. Fan, not only refers to Emperor Fantian, but also all the creatures who fight against Emperor Fantian. After countless battles, neither of them could hurt or kill the other. After all, one was a soul body and the other was a phantom, and their strength had long been greatly reduced. Okay, I've said this much. Although I can't kill you, it doesn't mean others can't. Maybe, it will come soon. Goodbye, old friend, enjoy the last time. After saying that, the shadow of Emperor Fantian slowly dissipated, and disappeared here completely together with Emperor Su and Lin Bufan. As for Emperor Shuntian, he naturally didn't have the ability to chase. Impossible, how could it be the descendants of those people? Emperor Fantian must be lying to me. Yes, that's right, he must be lying to me. Emperor Fantian, get out, get out. Emperor Shuntian was like a madman, constantly launching terrifying moves at the surrounding space. Maybe, I didn't lie to you. At this moment, a female voice slowly came out of the space, and at the same time there was a breath that made Emperor Shuntian feel the same source. Who? Come out. Emperor Shuntian asked with scarlet eyes looking at the dead silence around him. You are not qualified to know me. Among all the followers, you are just the lowest existence, or a dog. Don't forget, the origin world of the myriad worlds is always just a medium world, and you have never been used as a pawn by them, because you are not qualified. Innate destiny, fall. A few seconds later, strands of power from innate destiny continued to bless the shadow of Emperor Xuanhuan. Innate destiny origin. You are her follower. No, don't, I don't want to die. Let me go, please, let me go, I haven't revenged yet. Hee, you want to take revenge on the adults, do you think I will let you? You. Then, before Emperor Xuanhuan finished speaking, he completely fell. This time it was a real fall, directly destroying the source of Emperor Xuanhuan's power. It's a pity that in this war, only Emperor Su and Lin Bufan survived. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 534. At this moment, in a space, Lin Bufan and Xuanhuan slowly opened their eyes, and what they saw was an extremely unfamiliar environment. Where am I? Emperor Su. Lin Bufan raised his heavy eyelids and said feebly. You too, are you awake? The shadow of Emperor Fantian slowly appeared in their eyes. Lin Bufan, meet Emperor Fantian. Greetings to Emperor Fantian. After Lin Bufan and Xuanhuan saw the phantom of Emperor Fantian, they immediately recalled everything, including the words that Emperor Fantian himself said before falling into coma. It doesn't have to be like this. Then, Li Bufan knelt down in front of Emperor Fantian with a bang and said with tears. Master, I'm sorry. I am not worthy of your inheritance. I personally, killed the genius of the immortal realm and the emperor's daughter of Wanqi Academy with my own hands. Please take it back. Good boy, I don't blame you for this, I know it's the power that controls you, Emperor Fantian comforted softly. But our hands are already stained with blood, Everything in the world is inherently fickle, and you cannot predict such a situation. I know that the compatriots who killed their children with their own hands have had a huge psychological shadow on you, but now that it has happened, what you have to do is not to repent, but to solve the source of it all. Speaking of blood, whose hands have not been stained with the blood of our compatriots, I am no exception, even that gentleman is the same. Okay, forgive yourself, you still have a long road ahead. After finishing speaking, Emperor Fantian did not give the two of them a chance to speak. After a burst of light, the two returned to their own paths. Yao. Su Wang's eyes were dull, he looked at the deathly silence around him and murmured in a low voice. Lin Bufan is better than Su Wang. After all, he has never met Mei Xian and Dijun Wei before and has no relationship. As for Su Wang, it was different. He first killed Long Yao with his own hands, and then sent away Su Wu Xiaotian with his own hands. This experience had already become a demon in his heart. Suddenly, Su Huang thought of something. Miss Sui, yes, we must find Miss Sui, she is the one who died of that adult, and that adult must have a way to resurrect them. Yes, there must be. Yao, wait for me, no matter what, I will resurrect you. On the other side, in the Chaos Underworld Tower, Sui has reached the last level. Through this level, she can enter the center of the Chaos Tower. However, her heart is full of sadness at this moment. Whenever she thinks of the fact that Jun Yuyi and Zhang Changkan died, her body becomes numb. I can't help but tremble. Just when Shui Yi was stunned, he saw 3 rays of light arriving here at the same moment, none other than Emperor Lin, Xuanhuan Minjiao, and Fenshen. Snowsuit. Sister Sui. Snow-clad girl. After the 3 people saw Shui Yi, they suddenly said with great excitement. Shui Yi smiled with difficulty and said to the 3 of them. You guys are here too. Seeing Shui Yi's appearance, Emperor Lin and Xuanhuan Minjiao suddenly felt that something was not right, especially Xuanhuan Minjiao. At this moment, through the pupil of insight, she could clearly see the sadness and even despair exuding from Shui Yi. Shui Yi, what's wrong with you? What happened? Xianyu and Minjiao walked to Shuiyi and gently stroked Shuiyi's hair, asking with concern. Yes, Sister Sui, if you have any questions, tell us and we will definitely help you solve it, Linda said hurriedly from the side. Me too, Fenchen echoed. Hearing everyone's comforting words, Shuiyi's inner defenses finally broke down, and she threw herself directly into Minjiao's arms, with tears streaming down her eyes. I felt so pity for him. In the final analysis, Sui is just a little girl after all. Her state of mind and everything about her have not grown up. Okay, Shuiyi, don't cry. You've cried like a little cat. Tell us. It might make you feel better if you tell us. Minjiao's eyes flashed with a trace of distress, and she kept comforting Shuiyi. Speaking of it, Sui and Minjiao have known each other for the longest time, and Minjiao has already regarded Sui as her biological sister. Minjiao, Zhang Changkan, Jun Wuodao, and the others. How could they do it, Sister Sui? Have you seen them? Lindy asked doubtfully. Shh, let Shuiyi speak, don't interrupt, Minjiao whispered. They have fallen, Shuiyi said crying. After hearing these words, Xianyu and Minjiao and Lindy's hands froze, and the blood in their bodies seemed to have stopped flowing. Then they saw Lindy shaking his head and saying continuously. Impossible, absolutely impossible. How could they perish? They are desolate bodies and reincarnated bodies. How could they perish? I don't believe it. As he spoke, Emperor Lin shed hot tears. Minjiao, how did you know? Is there something wrong? Minjiao was also extremely sad, and asked with tears streaming down her face. Really, they really fell because a great emperor personally helped me deduce it, Shuiyi choked with sobs. Boom. Suddenly, Linda burst out with a burst of power, his whole body trembled continuously, his eyes were bloodshot, and he said. How could it be? Who is it? I will kill them with my own hands, kill them with my own hands. As he spoke, a wisp of crazy aura continued to emanate from Lindy. Not good, this is possessed by a demon, Fenchen, who was standing aside, said suddenly with a condensed look in his eyes, and then slapped Lindy on the back with a palm, spurting out a mouthful of blood. In the blink of an eye, Fenchen stuffed a pill into Lindy's mouth. The effect of the medicine continued to take effect, and after a long time, Lindy's eyes slowly regained clarity. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 535. I have temporarily helped you suppress your inner demons. You will need the emperor of your family to deal with it later. Remember to keep a good mood. If you are invaded by your inner demons again, I will not be able to help you. Fenchen looked at him extremely seriously. Emperor Lin said. Thank you so much, Emperor Lin said softly. Minjiao found it difficult to accept this for a while. If they didn't have the same life-saving means as us, how could they fall? No. It's impossible. Sui, what's going on? Minjiao asked with difficulty with trembling hands. At this moment, she had already burst into tears. Shuiyi seemed to have exhausted all her strength, trembling her bloodless lips. They killed each other and died. As soon as the words fell, Emperor Lin and Minjiao were seen, a mouthful of blood spurting out, and then their breath became chaotic, as if they were about to kill themselves. Here we go again, I suppressed it just now. But fortunately, the inner demon has not broken the ban. After a long time, Emperor Lin and Minjiao sat slumped on the ground, their eyes dull. You are a liar, you are definitely a liar. How could they kill each other? Ha 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 ha, you are definitely a liar. Liar. Sister Sui, are you lying to us? Emperor Lin looked at Shuiyi and said with a sad smile, while Shuiyi couldn't bear to look at it and shook his head. Suddenly, Emperor Lin spurted out a mouthful of blood again. Sui, do you know what happened? Minjiao's eyes were red as she looked at Shui Yi and begged. I don't know what happened. At this moment, Fen Tian couldn't help but roared. Okay everyone, have you forgotten that there are adults too? Sir, I will definitely be able to resurrect the Zhang Chang'an and Jun Wuodao you talk about. Upon hearing these words, the darkness in the eyes of the three people was gradually replaced by light. By the way, Master can definitely do it. That's right, and adults, things like resurrection are easy for adults. Right, so, what we have to do is to leave this chaos tower as soon as possible. Fen Tian said with a smile. After a long time, everyone's emotions slowly returned to normal, because they believed that Li Bai would be able to resurrect them. However, I am still very curious. The relationship between Chang'an and Jun Wuodao is not very good. Why did they kill each other? Emperor Lin asked with great confusion. Yes, based on our understanding, it is absolutely impossible for them to kill each other, unless something happens out of their control. Something you can't help yourself with. Minjiao, what are you referring to? Emperor Lin asked slowly. It's just a general direction, how can I know the details? While everyone was discussing, they saw that the environment in the entire space was constantly changing, and chaotic dust continued to spread. Then a shadow slowly appeared in front of everyone. It was an extremely ordinary middle-aged man, with an appearance that would be ordinary to others. A face that can no longer be found in the sea. However, such an extremely ordinary middle-aged man exudes such majesty that it seems like he can shatter the entire universe. Yes, finally a genius has made it this far. It's not in vain. I've been waiting for you for eternity. Shuiying looked at Sui and the others, and spoke slowly, his expression neither happy nor sad. Senior, are you? Minjiao asked curiously. For those who haven't introduced themselves yet, my name is Emperor Luengu. Boom. The weight of this name is heavier than that of Wan Yu. It can be said that there is no creature in the entire world who does not know Luengu Emperor. In terms of prestige alone, Luengu Emperor can be compared with Qing Emperor. The Invincible Chong Pupil Emperor and other creatures are on par with each other. Even on the Eternal Emperor list, Luengu Emperor is ranked several places higher than Qing Emperor. You are the Luengu Emperor. The Emperor of Luengu Nitian. Minjiao's eyes burst out with bright light, her expression was horrified, and she asked in disbelief. Luengu Emperor, full name is Luengu Nishan Emperor, a great emperor from the era of chaos, and an extremely legendary physical enlightenment emperor, because the impression he gave to the creatures in the heavens and worlds was different from other great emperors. For example, Nanyi is the emperor in his mortal body, Qing Emperor is his contribution to the heavens and the world, the immortal realm, and the human race, and the Chongtong Emperor is invincible. But the ancient Emperor Luan was famous for his failures, so he had another title, the defeated Emperor. That's right, it was a failure, because throughout the first half of Luengu Emperor's life, he was always in a state of failure. He was either failing or on the road to failure. From the time he was born to becoming the emperor, he never won a battle against a living being. Not even a single victory. All this is because of the Luengu Emperor's physique, the ruined body of the heavenly Dao. The Luengu Emperor was born in a place of chaos in the world. It was one of the most chaotic areas in the entire world in the Age of Chaos. When he was born, the Luengu Emperor was cursed by heaven and became a waste of heaven. The specific reason is that the talent of Emperor Luengu is too evil, and Heavenly Dao believes that Emperor Luengu will definitely be a person who defies heaven in the future, so it imposes this layer of curse to take precautions before it happens. What is a waste body? It is a physique that can never absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. The most fatal weakness of this weakness is that the great Emperor Luengu cannot practice any exercises, which also means that he can never embark on the path of cultivation. Those mortal bodies can at least awaken and learn one or two of the most basic exercises to embark on the path of immortality. It is this physique that has created the most legendary life of the great Emperor Luangwu. He has tempered and cultivated his body countless times, constantly looking for people to challenge and temper his body. In the end, with the simplest body, he spent endless time to become an emperor and completed a truly heaven-defying act. After becoming an emperor, the curse of the great Emperor Luang was also lifted. In a certain era after the curse was lifted, the great Emperor Luang successfully disrupted the local era of the Land of Rebellion and finally killed the heavenly Dao of the Land of Rebellion. However, after killing Tiandao, the great Emperor Luang disappeared completely, without a trace, and no living creature had ever seen him. Some people said that the great Emperor Luang's life was to kill Tiandao, so after killing Tiandao, he also fell due to fate. Some people also said that the great Emperor Luang went to another world and continued to write the legendary Luang against the sky. No matter which speculation it is, it will never erase the shock that the great Emperor Luang brought to countless living creatures. This is the origin of the great Emperor Luang against the sky. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 536. It can be said that the success of the Emperor Luang cannot be copied by others, because only he can walk this path against the will of heaven. If anyone knows that he is a useless person, it would be good if he did not commit suicide on the spot. Even if he survived, he would be like a candle in the wind, lingering for more than 10 years. Ha ha ha, I know you are surprised. Do you feel that my name does not match my face? Even I feel that my face should not be like this. The Emperor Luang looked at the astonished eyes of the crowd and said with a smile. You are joking, senior. You are the one who is against the will of heaven. We just have never seen you before, so we are too surprised. Xuanhuan Minjiao said respectfully. Junior, Xuanhu, Xuanhuan Minjiao has seen the Emperor Luang. Junior, Xuanhu, Emperor Lin has seen the Emperor Luang. Junior, Luxianyu, Fenchen has seen the Emperor Luang. Junior, Xuanhu, Sui has seen the Emperor Luang. The four people bowed with both hands and shouted to the Emperor Luang with great respect. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that my name, the great Emperor Luang, would be passed down to this day. I am very satisfied that you youngsters can remember me. Are you three from the immortal realm? Then, the great Emperor Luang looked at the three people in Sui and said slowly. Yes, seniors, we are from the immortal realm. Immortal realm. At this point, the great Emperor Luang's eyes were filled with memories. It doesn't surprise me that there are monsters and geniuses like you. After all, that place has bred many eternal emperors since its birth. The great Emperor Luang said with a smile. Senior, you can become an emperor from a waste body. This is a true legend that shines for countless eras. If it were us, we would have returned to dust and returned to earth long ago. It is impossible for us to get out of the eternal history of becoming an emperor in the flesh. Ha ha ha, I love to listen to you youngsters talk. I love to listen. It sounds good, the great Emperor Luang said with a smile. Why do I feel that this Luang senior has a different personality from the one in the records? Lin Di asked in a low voice. Indeed, the Luang emperor in the records was serious and even more arrogant after becoming an emperor. Perhaps, this is the real personality of Luang emperor. Okay, little guys, if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them for you. After all, you look much better, Luang emperor said with a smile. It was obvious that he was in a very happy mood now. Sure enough, no one doesn't like others' praise, especially a creature like Luang who was ridiculed in the first half of his life. Senior, I do have a few questions, Please help me. Hey, why are you being polite to me? Just ask, and don't be polite. Luanggu Emperor waved his hand and said. Senior, why did your phantom appear in this chaos Tongming Tower? Xuanhuan Minjiao asked slowly. Well, you know that I destroyed the heavenly Dao of the land of rebellion, right? Of course, everyone knows about this. To be honest, before that, I didn't have much hope. After all, that was the source of my bad luck. I lived under the shadow of heavenly Dao for the first half of my life. And Han Dun Tongming is one of my few good friends, and we have known each other for a long time. By the way, do you know that this kid is very interesting? As he spoke, the topic gradually went off track. Ha 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 ha, senior, Han Dun Tongming really peeked at the widow bathing. Linda laughed and said. Exciting, too exciting, is this something we can hear? Ha ha ha, of course, you don't know, this kid was very lustful at the time, but unfortunately, he had the desire but not the courage. Then, the great Emperor Luanggu talked about a lot of embarrassing things about the great Emperor Han Dun Tongming, which made people laugh. I didn't expect it. Tisk tisk, it seems that there is no difference between us and the seniors. Hey, that man doesn't want to wake up and take power, but sleep on the lap of a beauty, don't you think so? Emperor Luanggu winked at Emperor Lin and Fenshin. Hey, the senior is right, heroes think alike. Senior, do you want to drink? I have the best fairy wine here, do you want a few cups? Emperor Lin also said with interest. Damn, you kid, why didn't you say you have wine earlier? Come on, I haven't had a drink for a long time. Okay. Minjiao, Sister Sui, do you want to drink? Emperor Lin turned his head and looked at Sui and Minjiao. We won't drink. Come on, two little beauties, drink, both of you should drink with me, Emperor Luanggu said excitedly. In that case, let's accompany the senior and have a few drinks. Ha 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 ha, that's right. Then, the Emperor of Chaos waved his hand, and a wine table appeared in front of everyone in an instant. Senior, this thing is, the ancient thunderstruck wood. Ha ha ha, the boy is not bad, he has good eyesight. Then, the scene gradually became a little uncontrollable. Shui and Mingyu couldn't get a word in at all, and could only listen quietly to the three people talking. Brother, to be honest, I like. Boy, not bad, with the appearance of a hero. Hee, it seems that the big brother is the same. Hee, you know. After 3 rounds of drinking, the 3 of them were a little drunk. After all, they didn't use their spiritual power to dispel the alcohol, but simply drank with their mortal bodies. Woo, big brother, why didn't I meet you earlier? You don't know, I'm so miserable. Hickey me too, big brother, although I am a genius of the era, I am suppressed by Sister Sui and can't turn over. Fenshin and Lindy said a little drunk. Come on, second brother, third brother, drink, today, we become brothers of different surnames. Emperor Luanggu was also a little drunk at this moment. If he had known that this group of young people were so suitable for his taste, he would not have drunk with those old men at that time. Big brother, second brother. Big brother, third brother. Second brother, third brother. We don't ask to be born on the same day, but we ask to be born on the same day, year, month, and year. Senior, you are drunk, don't drink anymore. Xuanhuan Minjiao, who was standing aside, covered her face and said, unable to bear it. Girls, what do you know, Minjiao, don't disturb the fun of me, big brother and third brother. You. Then, the 3 of them were like sworn brothers in Daowen. Oh, really? Then, Minjiao waved his hand and directly dispelled the alcohol in the 3 people's bodies. Instantly, the 3 of them woke up immediately. Big brother, does what you said before count? Lindy asked cautiously. Of course, what the great Emperor Luang, said. Woo woo, big brother, third brother. Woo woo, big brother, second brother. It's our first meeting, and I don't have anything to give you. So, these things are useless to me, you can play with them. Don't be polite to these two little beauties. After the great Emperor Luang finished speaking, he waved his hand, and dozens of imperial arts slowly appeared in front of them. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 537. Suddenly Lindy and others' eyes widened. Brother, this isn't good. What's wrong? If it weren't for the fact that my inheritance is not suitable for you, I would have given it to you directly. Take them all, otherwise, don't blame me for falling out. In that case, thank you, senior. Okay, let's get back to business. By the way, what did I just say? Emperor Luangu scratched his head and said. Later, after Minjiao's reminder, Emperor Luangu recalled it. At that time, because I knew Tongming, I gave my inheritance to him and asked him to find a successor for me. After all, I didn't know if I could really defeat the way of heaven at that time. However, it was finally put to use, Emperor Luangu said slowly. Brother, so you have really? Linda said sadly. Yes, I have fallen, Emperor Luangu nodded and said. Brother, where did you go after you destroyed the way of heaven? And you were killed by that bastard? My third brother and I must avenge you. That's right, me too. Emperor Lin and Fenchen said with twinkling eyes. To be honest, after the destruction of Heavenly Dao, I seemed to have lost my goal. I felt that my path was full of confusion until I met a living being. Brother, who is it? Emperor in White. Hearing this sentence, everyone's eyes widened again. You must know that historical records have never mentioned that Li Bai and Emperor Luangu had a relationship. Grown-ups. It's actually an adult. It's really unbelievable. I always feel that all the famous emperors in the world have had relations with you, Emperor Lin said slowly. Well, your words don't sound right. I mean. After hearing your answers, it seems that you have also met the white-clothed emperor. That's right. After all, you are creatures of the fairyland, and the fairyland has a great weight in the heart of the white-clothed emperor, Emperor Luangu said with a smile. Brother, to tell you the truth, not only have we met before, but there is also some terrifying news. Even so, I am the Emperor of Luangwu, and I have never seen anything like this. It's, Sister Sui, she is your disciple. Upon hearing these words, Emperor Luangu's face paused for a moment, and then his whole person seemed to have turned to stone. He looked at Shui in disbelief, and then looked at Emperor Lin, with an expression that seemed to say, you will never lie again, your eldest brother, second brother. Brother, I didn't lie to you, almost all the creatures in the immortal realm know about it now. Emperor Lin shrank his neck and said, feeling as if Emperor Luangu's eyes were trying to eat him. After a long time. Protruding. Damn it, why didn't you tell me earlier? If you deceive me like this, I will cut off my relationship with you. Oh. Brother, you didn't even ask. Besides, we don't know that you have something to do with the adults, Emperor Lin said angrily. Then his humming name has something to do with it. It's your lord, you helped me lift the curse. My lord, you helped me find the way again. In my heart, you are just like your ancestors, Emperor Luangu said angrily. Unfilial descendants, I have seen Sui ancestors in Luangwu. This time, I can't straighten it out for Shui, it's super doubled. Senior, get up quickly, don't do this, I'm not used to it, Shui said anxiously, isn't this a loss of life? I won't, unless you, ancestor Sui, call me, Xiaogozi. Degree. Minjiao, what should I do? Well, if it doesn't work, just shout. You and Sister Nanyi are the most senior in all the worlds. In addition, the adults have helped Senior Luengu. It's not too much for you to shout, Minjiao said slowly, mainly because of this posture. If Shuiyi didn't shout, Luengu wouldn't be able to get up. Xiao gozi, Shuiyi said with difficulty. Epsilon equals Omicron asterisk, alas, ancestors, Luengu is still here. Luengu was so moved at this moment that he almost cried. In this way, he had joined Li Bai's sect. As for Emperor Lin, he looked at the side with a sad face. It's over, it's chaos. What's wrong? Fen Tian asked in confusion. Look, I call Shuiyi my eldest sister, Luengu is my eldest brother, and Luengu calls Shuiyi my ancestor. What's wrong with this? It really doesn't work, you all have your own opinions. Good idea. Later, Luengu asked Shuiyi about the situation of many adults. It's a pity that I didn't get to see the adults, Luengu said regretfully. Senior Luengu, you haven't finished talking about what you just said, Minjiao rubbed the center of her eyebrows and said. Emperor Luengu always felt like a child, thinking every time he came up. Yes, later, under your guidance, I left the world to find a new goal. However, I unfortunately died in the end. Brother, where did he die? Disordered world. Luengu slowly named a place. Disordered realm. Never heard of it, what about you? Nor. Okay, these things are not accessible to you now. When you leave the world, remember to be careful about that place. Yes, senior. Okay, do you have any more questions? Afterwards, Minjiao and others asked a few more questions, and Luengu took the trouble to answer them one by one. At the last moment, several uninvited guests suddenly appeared in the entire space, 3 creator creatures. Ha 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 ha, I knew that there must be some secret in this chaos tower of the underworld. Sure enough, Emperor Luengu. It seems that our plan is about to succeed. This is a terrible place, we finally don't have to be imprisoned here for the rest of our lives. Who are you? Luengu immediately stood in front of everyone, resisting the fatal wisps of supreme majesty. Let me introduce myself, my name is Tongming Wu Tian. There is no place in the underworld. Tongming Wu Zun. The 3 creators said slowly, and then released wisps of aura that was extremely familiar to Emperor Luengu. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 538. This breath. You, are you the descendants of Tongming? Emperor Luengu frowned and asked, I don't know why these 3 creators still have wisps of hostility. Air. Haha, we have never admitted that we are his descendants. That's right, we are not from the same group as him. The 3 creators said with a sneer. What's the meaning? The Emperor Luengu's eyes condensed, and then he exuded the power that would go against Luengu for eternity. He would never allow his good friend's descendants to betray him. Not only are we not the same people, we are also enemies. Hate that can never be resolved. The beast who has betrayed his ancestors and forgotten his lineage, Emperor Luengu said coldly. Ha 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 ha, yes, we are no longer human beings. As early as when that guy from Tongming created this ancient road, we were no longer human. He wants to protect the heavens and the world. It is his business, why should he impose it on future generations? You even bothered to put shackles on us. You said, do you have such an ancestor? If it weren't for him, we would have broken through the Creator long ago, and even the Dominator would not be a dream. The eyes of the leading creator were filled with resentment. But you have been able to get to where you are today, didn't you rely on Tongming's inheritance? Using ancestors' things and cursing them, I have never seen such a shameless person in my entire life. Also, Do you think you can break through the master after leaving here? Haha, from the birth of all heavens and worlds to now, there have been many creators, but none of them can break through the dominance. If you don't reflect on yourselves, you actually blame Tongming. What a bunch of beasts. Emperor Luangu's tone became more and more excited, and the wisps of momentum that countered Luangu's eternal life became deafening, as if they were going to bury these three creators. No matter what you say, we must realize this plan. We are fed up with confinement, we need freedom. As long as we can kill the four geniuses and make them kill each other, the most critical step of the plan will be completed. Tongming Liuzun looked at Shui and others behind Luangu, with no trace of the murderous intent in his eyes. Hearing these words, Shui immediately understood why there was an aura of disaster and purgatory when he saw the Chaos Tower for the first time. It turned out to be because of this. How dare you? Emperor Luangu shouted angrily. Haha, why don't you dare? You are just a shadow now. If your true form appears, we may still be wary of you, but now. Alas, a moment later, a slightly blurry shadow appeared in the space again, as if it was from the chaotic era of Lao Tzu, and was incompatible with the atmosphere of this era. This person was the Chaos Tongming Emperor. Old friend. Emperor Luangu shouted excitedly. Langu, we meet again. Yes, we meet again. Reminiscing about old times later, let's solve the immediate problem first. Good. When these three creators saw the shadow of Chaos Tongming appear, they did not show any surprise, but they were just a little confused. Since he left a shadow, why did the road to all realms not appear several times before? Long time no see, ancient Emperor Tongming. Tongming Liuxian's tone was calm and there was no expression on his face. You should never trade with them. In this case, you are destined to die. Ancient Emperor Chaos Tongming shook his head and said. Whoever we deal with, it's not your turn to blame. If it weren't for you, how could we be betrayed? Do you think we really want to betray you? It's all because of you. It's you who pushed us to this dead end. Tongming Wutian shouted angrily, as if he wanted to vent all the hatred he had felt throughout the ages. Indeed, this is really my fault. What, you regret it? Regret? Haha, you think I will regret the decision I made? I am the ancient Emperor Tongming. I know that I regret not thinking about this day. If I knew, I would directly kill you on the day you were born, ancient Emperor Tongming said with a smile. As expected, you haven't changed the Minggu Emperor. You are still as selfish as ever. We are your descendants. Descendants, how can you bear it? Tongming Liuxian's defense was completely broken. Do you think I will send you descendants? Ancient Emperor Tongming said disdainfully. Yes, according to records, ancient Emperor Tongming was romantic by nature, loving everyone he met, and he had so many heirs. However, in this world where strength is respected, no one dares to accuse, and besides, as the emperor, no one feels wrong. Ha 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 ha. This is ridiculous. I'm afraid that we have guarded this ancient road for you for several epochs, and in exchange for these words. What an ironic ending. However, I'm still curious. Since there is your shadow here, why didn't you stop it a few times before? Because, I only have this shadow left, and I need to appear at the most critical moment. What's more, given the status of these geniuses, I can't just sit back and watch. Ancient Emperor Tongming said slowly. Identity. Isn't he the genius of the immortal realm? You don't need to know these, Ancient Emperor Tongming said with a smile. Okay, Luangwu, I'll take 2 and you 1, how about that? Then, Tongming Ancient Emperor looked at Luangwu Great Emperor and said with a smile. Ha ha ha, of course it's good, we can finally fight side by side again, I've been looking forward to it for a long time. Then, Tongming Ancient Emperor gave Shui and others a pill each and said. Children, eat it, otherwise you will be affected by the battle later. Hearing this, the four looked at Luang Great Emperor. It's okay, Tongming Ancient Emperor and I have known each other for an unknown period of time, and I can trust you completely, Luang Great Emperor said slowly. Well. After that, the four people slowly swallowed this unknown pill slowly, without any feeling or any signs. After seeing the four people swallow the pill, Tongming Ancient Emperor's eyes flashed a barely perceptible light. Okay, let's go, Luang. Ha 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 ha, good. Luang anti-kill art. After that, Luang Great Emperor rushed towards Tongming Wuzun. Come on, I just want to see how terrifying the legendary Emperor Luengu is. Demon killing palms. Boom. This battle seemed to be able to shatter the heavens and the worlds. The aftermath of the battle could easily tear apart a pioneer. As for Shui and others, they were safe and sound. This elixir is so awesome, it is safe and sound in such a battle, Linda said in surprise. It's really awesome. And Shui frowned. She didn't know why, but she always felt that there was a conspiracy that had not surfaced. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 539. As expected of Emperor Luengu, a mere shadow can have such powerful power. The path to creation, rejected. Then, Tongming Wuzun summoned his own path, and suddenly an endless grey path slowly emerged, from which bursts of unspeakable terrifying power burst out. Well done. The ancient and heaven-defying path. Upon seeing this, Emperor Luengu also summoned his own path. Different from the path of Tongming Wuzun, this path was full of the taste of failure. Every shadow of a creature that had defeated Emperor Luengu slowly appeared, constantly unleashed terrifying tricks. Afterwards, the Luengu Great Emperor and the Chaos Tongming Emperor fought countless times in less than a minute, with some being evenly matched and indistinguishable. As for the other two, they were handed over to ancient Emperor Tongming. Chaos Tongming Purgatory Formation, the Chaos Tongming Emperor roared angrily, and suddenly, the entire Chaos Tongming Tower was trembling. Outside world. What's going on, earthquake? Chaos Tower of the Underworld, it's the Tower of Chaos Tower that is trembling. Damn, it shouldn't be. Why are you shaking suddenly? Is there a terrible battle happening inside you? What are you dreaming about? This Chaos Mingming Tower is the natal imperial weapon of the ancient Mingming Emperor. Even a battle between great emperors will not have the slightest impact. How can a group of geniuses who have not yet become emperors be able to do that? Could it be caused by Shui and the others? But, I always have a bad feeling at this moment. The eyes of the Qingcheng Empress, who had been paying attention to the Chaos Tower, were flashing with strange colors. At this moment, the entire ancient city, or the entire ancient road from Chaos to the underworld, was also trembling. Then, wisps of dark light of Chaos, wrapped in the breath from the underworld, were constantly swallowed by the Chaos Tower. However, just when everyone was shocked, some geniuses who were relatively close to the Chaos Underworld Tower were directly decomposed by wisps of strange power and then turned into wisps of breath to swallow them. Run away. Damn, what's going on? What happened inside? Is this ancient road going to be destroyed? Suddenly, countless creatures began to flee into the distance, and this phenomenon also attracted the attention of the three major families. Qingcheng, what's going on? A great emperor in the void asked hurriedly. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the reason for everything is the Chaos Underworld Tower. Damn it, where are the three old guys in charge? Why can't they be contacted? Could it be that something happened? Empress Qingcheng said with a frown. But we can't get in either. Forget it, For now we can only wait peacefully. Let's form a formation around the Chaos Tower now. Good. After finishing speaking, the three great emperors formed a formation directly outside the Chaos Tower. There was not enough paper, and after a few seconds, the formation was swallowed up instantly. What the hell, what happened? The three great emperors were shocked. Such a strange thing has never happened before. Oops, the geniuses of our family are still in there. Something uncontrollable definitely happened inside. What to do? You ask me, who the hell am I asking? However, at this moment, something desperate happened to the other three emperors. They felt that the genius of their family had fallen. How come? Impossible, why did they fall? Quickly, go back to the family and wake up the ancestor. After saying that, the three great emperors immediately returned to their families, preparing to wake up their ancestors. After all, things were out of their control now, and the three controllers could not be contacted. On the other side, Nan Yi, who was exploring a strange place, suddenly felt anxious in his heart. Not good. What do you think, Sister Nan Yi? De Wang asked doubtfully. Shui Yi is in danger. Ah! How could Miss Sui be in danger? She is your disciple, the enslaved soul master asked in shock. The life-saving means in their bodies has disappeared. To be precise, it has been blocked. Nan Yi frowned and said. What the hell, is it blocked? How could this be blocked? They created it based on what the master gave them. Unless, there is interference from the aura of the innate originator, the enslaved soul master said slowly. Suddenly the atmosphere fell into silence. What should I do? I don't know where the master is and I can't contact him, Nan said anxiously. Don't worry, Sister Nanyi, little Sui will definitely be fine. Now that the matter is over, Nanyi, can you know their specific location? The slave soul master said slowly. Isolated. This is trouble, let's leave this weird place quickly. Even if we leave, we can't enter their path, De Wang said hurriedly. Just because others can't get in, doesn't mean that I can't get in. Don't forget that I have absorbed the evil thoughts of all living beings in the world. Okay, in that case, let's hurry up. At this moment, the Emperor of Nothingness was in endless anxiety. What's going on? I still can't get in touch, sir. Well, it seems like the adults have disappeared. What should we do now? By the way, Qingxian, are you sure, Mizian also? Xuanhuan Divine Emperor asked cautiously. Yes, she died. King Xuan's face was full of grief. It turned out that after Emperor Suwa felt the death of Xiaotian Lianyi, Qingxian also noticed the death of Mizian. Damn it, damn it, damn it. They have the adults' life-saving methods in their bodies, how could they die? These are the hopes of our fairyland. Xuanhuan Divine Emperor said with red eyes, but the next moment he was also stunned. What's wrong, Divine Emperor? Minjiao is in danger, his life-saving method has disappeared. One stone stirs up 1,000 waves. What happened? No matter who it is, I must pay the price, even if it costs all our fairy clan. At this moment, they also understood that there was a conspiracy against their fairyland. God Emperor, nothingness. Suddenly, a hoarse voice came from the space they were in, a man and a woman. Afterwards, the emperor of the Jun family, Jun Shui, and an ancestor of the Zhang family, Zhang Yuan. Jun Shui, Zhang Yuan. What happened to you? The Xianyuan God Emperor clearly sensed the grief emanating from the two and asked hurriedly. Jun Yuyi, and Zhang Changkan, died. Jun Shui shed a line of tears and choked up. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 540. What, they also, fell. Ah! Who is it, who is it? The Emperor Xuanhuan burst out with a wisp of extremely terrifying power, constantly impacting everything on this road. You. Hearing this, Jun Shui asked in disbelief with trembling lips. That's right, Xiaotian, Lianyi and Maizian, also, fell, Qingxian said with trembling lips. Hearing this, Jun Shui and Zhang Yuan's faces turned pale again, and then a mouthful of blood spurted out, and extreme despair and pain emanated from everyone. Xiaotian, Lianyi, Yi, Chang'an, Maizian, these are all the hopes for the future of the fairyland, and now they have fallen together, and they don't know whether there are any more fairyland prodigies who have fallen. The Emperor, Minjiao. Although they didn't fall, but, their life-saving methods have disappeared, I'm afraid. Emperor Xuanhuan said with great sadness. My lord will surely be able to revive them. Have you contacted them? Jun Shui asked cautiously with a trembling voice. If she could think of asking for help from the Lord, how could Emperor Xuanhuan and others not think of it? However, it seems that the result is a failure now, but Jun Shui still wants to find the sunshine in the crack. It's useless. The Lord seems to have disappeared. What's wrong? What should we do? What should we do? Jun Shui's eyes were red with tears at this moment, like a little girl who was at a loss. After knowing the affirmative answer, her heart was completely shrouded in haze. Alas, everyone, don't worry. The fall is only temporary. When the Lord completely solves all this, they will naturally come back. At this moment, two female voices came slowly, and then Xiao Leng and Xiao Yao slowly appeared in front of everyone. You are. Then, Xiao Leng and Xiao Yao briefly explained their identities, but at this moment, the emperors had no time to be shocked. Now they just want to find the Lord and revive Zhang Chang'an and others. Senior, you are interested. Can they really revive? Jun Yuyi looked at the two people and said hopefully. What do you think? Don't you believe in the adults? Xiao Leng said slowly. No, how could we not believe in the adults? No creature can believe in the adults more than I do. By the way, do you want to know how they fell? Hearing this, all the emperors looked at Xiao Yao, their eyes flashing. Although Zhang Chang'an and others had fallen, the cause of death must be known, and they must die clearly. Senior, please tell us. Then, Xiao Yao roughly told the story. Emperor Shun Tian. You deserve to die, you deserve to die. The emperors gritted their teeth and let their tears continue to fall, smashing one abyss after another on this road. If they were killed by other Tianjiao with strength, perhaps they would not be so sad, but after learning that they were controlled by Emperor Shun Tian to kill each other, the resentment in their hearts could no longer be endured and burst out directly. It is conceivable that when Jun Yi and Su Xiaotian killed his lover and sister with their own hands, how desperate and helpless they were. Xiaotian, Lianyi, it is father who is sorry for you, it is father's fault, it is all father's fault. Furious, Emperor Su fell into deep self-blame, a mouthful of blood spurted out, his realm began to fluctuate, and his breath gradually began to become disordered. Gradually, wisps of breath continued to burst out from Emperor Su's body, and then gradually gathered together. This is evil thoughts? No, stop Suwa quickly, and never let his evil thoughts be born. The emperors saw this and said hurriedly. Fortunately, Xiao Leng took action in time and temporarily suppressed the birth of evil thoughts. This is only temporary. Once evil thoughts are born, only he can eliminate them. After all, you are not ordinary emperors. Xiao Leng said slowly. But senior, the evil thoughts are sealed in the body of nothingness like this, won't. Oh, sister almost forgot, Emperor Shuntian is still alive. We didn't kill him completely at that time, just to let them vent. Well, I almost forgot, let him out. Then, Xiao Yao waved his hand, and the shadow of Emperor Shuntian slowly appeared in front of the emperors, but at this moment, the shadow of Emperor Shuntian was already blurred, like a candle in the wind, and it would disappear with a slight blow. "Kill me, please, kill me." Emperor Shuntian looked at Xiao Qi and begged. "Everyone, this is the real murderer behind the scenes. I don't need to say more about how to do it. Don't worry, I will continue to inject him with the breath of innate origin to ensure that he won't die so quickly." Hearing this, the emperors instantly looked at Emperor Shuntian, their eyes filled with raging anger, wishing to eat Emperor Shuntian alive. "Thank you, Senior. Who will go first?" Xuanhuan looked at the emperors, her tone extremely cold, her hands trembling constantly. "Let Suwa go first. This will curb the evil thoughts to a certain extent." "Yes." In the following hour, Emperor Shuntian suffered inhumane torture. Whenever Emperor Shuntian was about to fall, Xiao Leng and Xiao Yao would inject a ray of innate origin breath into him, over and over again, and the cycle never stopped. After an unknown period of time, Emperor Shuntian finally fell completely, and the emperors were panting and pale at this moment. They had just used everything. "Thank you, two seniors," Xuanhuan and others said respectfully. If it weren't for such an outlet, it is estimated that as time goes by, they would boldly have evil thoughts, but nothingness is the most miserable. "Well, you're welcome. After all, you are all followers of adults," Xiao Leng said slowly. "By the way, Senior, can you find out where Minjiao and the others are now?" "I can't do that. I only know that they are in the 12 ancient roads, but now we have found 6 of them. The reason why we are here is to take you to find them together," Xiao Leng said slowly. "But, doesn't the Road of 10,000 Worlds have mandatory rules?" "We can." He, this kind of rule is only for you living beings. It doesn't apply to the ruler. What's more, the heavens and the worlds belong to adults no matter what. You should understand this. By the way, Senior, you just said that adults went to solve some things. Can you tell me?" Xuanhuan asked in confusion. "This matter?" "Sister, tell me, sooner or later they will know." "Well, okay, then," Xiao Leng told the emperors about the matter. After hearing this, the emperors were all horrified. This was definitely the most terrifying thing they had ever heard of.